Everybody, and welcome along to the Austrian Grand Prix. We are here for Formula Sprint 2 once again. And, we're set for a pretty interesting race today as Red Ven Racing look to retake their supremacy, something they've been able to do fairly well, if you'll excuse me, in the practice sessions that happened a couple of minutes ago. We're just getting into qualifying now. The session has just got to change over and all of that. I'm Tom Dillon, one of your commentators tonight. Menno Klont is supposed to join me. However, they've got an issue with one of the cars. So he's in the race control, sorting that out at the moment. So we'll get him with us as soon as that problem is resolved. A very fast-flowing circuit today. It's the Red Bull Ring, of course, 4.326 kilometers, and lots of straight opportunities through the DRS. Of course, this track lending itself to motorbikes as well quite nicely. They do MotoGP here. If last time I checked, they do, and it's a very nice circuit indeed. And as we wait to get qualifying underway, we've got about 20 seconds until the lights do go green at the end of the pit lane. And a relatively packed out grid today. 28 cars on it. And immediate takers for the end of the pit lane as it does open. And I'm not too sure who this is. It looks like one of the Rowan GP cars. It's Alex Laho looking to regain his form that was sort of lost of late. Alex Laho, he was looking very, very promising for a stretch in the season, and then he's had a couple of bad races, unfortunately, for Alex Laho. Monaco and Silverstone are both being relatively poor races for poor old Alex, and looking to get back. And I'm not too sure whether it's on my end as oh dear, he makes a mistake on his outlap, and a very fast lap as well here. Formula One cars are not too far away from breaking the minute on this circuit. I think they could do 103s or 104s last time I checked. And obviously these cars will be a little bit slower, probably by the tune of about 14 seconds or so. 119s the Red Ven cars were doing in the practice session. We'll have a look at what Stephen Lexo can do for Red Ven Racing, sporting what looks like a special livery this evening, hoping to break the special livery curse. And judging by practice, they're set to do it quite nicely. Heading down into turn one, flicks the car in, and this version of the track, the curb there, doesn't quite stick out as much as it does in the real world. Perhaps the corner's just slightly wider on this mod, and it's allowing Stephen to take the apex rather than taking the curb, as you'd normally do in a game like F1. And actually, I don't know whether it's F1 or GPV that's inaccurate on that one, and it probably is F1 going on their form. But purple through sector 1, Stephen Lexon already heading down into sector 3, once again nice and flowing, really on top of the car at this stage. Dips in for a bit of an early apex, and then uses all the curb back down to 5th for the fast chicane. And he might have invalidated there. He's got away with it. According to the timings, he's got away with it, but I'm not too sure whether he has or not. We'll wait to see as he crosses the line through the final fast couple of corners. Is Stephen Lexo going to go to the top of the timing tower? He's not going to, because it was invalidated in the end, but the flurry of times, it's actually Alex Laho who sets the fastest time of the bunch at the moment. Though I imagine Lexo will be going again. Here is Olaf van der Stam. On for a decent, well, actually, no, he's not, is he? He's well off the pace, but obviously characteristic of a spin or something like that. Nothing too concerning, as we see Sandak actually into the abyss. So not sure where he's got to, but Ruben Machete is on a very good lap indeed. Purple in both the first two sectors, trying to muster a little bit of that pace he showed in the practice sessions to be right on his teammates. In fact, I think he was at 19.7, the fastest of the bunch. But as he comes to the line, is it going to be fast enough to put him on pole position at this present moment? And it is. It's a 119.9. So Ruben Machete heads to the top of the timing tower. And just as he does that, I'm joined by Menno Klont in the commentary box.
Hello, yeah, here I am. Was a bit delayed, so I'm now here to watch the final 7 minutes of the qualifying.
As we see Jack Mayer, purple in sector 1, not improving in the second sector on pole time, but certainly looking to go top 5 or something like that, and it is going to be 6th position in the end, just behind Scott Mitchell for Kings Racing. As we see Josh Dowden now for TOP Esports run a lot of the curb on the exit, and as he heads to the line, it's not going to be pole position, but it's going to be 13th for Josh Dowden, so not quite able to break into the top 10 at the moment, and well, not improving on purple first sector. Seems to be a bit of a theme going on as Scott Mitchell replicates the feat, heading through the final corner now, almost sliding the car through there. The sparks from this new build of R-Factor 2, and in fact it's not going to be very impressive at all from Scott Mitchell. He doesn't improve and stays 5th. And Luke Mitchell takes the pits. And Menno, who would you say is favourite today?
Favorite today? Well, yeah, with this short track, I think we've got a lot of favorites. But yeah, I think mainly the great drivers in the championship, the highest positions, of course, will have, I think, a bit, better chance. Well, we now see Yusuf bin Suhail jump to P7. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Like I said, we've got quite, I think, a fast track, and it's only a 1 minute 20 lap, so it's very interesting to see where everybody will end up, and it will be mega close. We already see it. 15, or was it top 15 guys or drivers within a second, so that's amazing already.
And, well, always good racing around Austria as well as Scott Mitchell. Oh, he's gone very stylishly into the pit lane. I'm not sure it was entirely intentional from Scott Mitchell. And if you did it in a Formula 1 Grand Prix, then you would get a penalty. But well done. Scott Mitchell managed to hold on to the car. And, well, doesn't have to escape back to the pit lane, which would see an end to his qualifying session. As we see, Silver Yoffert was a purple in that first sector. It's starting to make me think that actually there was a mistake from Ruben Machete in the first sector that's causing the first sector times to all be purple, but again, yellow in the second. And Silver Yoffert not quite able to be totally up there, 7th at the moment. And if he can muster about 5 tenths in this final corner, then he'll be able to jump up a little bit. He's knocked down to 8th. At the present moment, and it's not going to be an improvement, I don't think. 120.5. Massimiliano Ribili is currently on an improvement of a lap, and as he comes to the line, he will improve from 10th, I would suspect, and he improves to 8th and actually knocks Joffe down to 9th himself, with Piotr Adamczyk for GPVWC Academy. And well, this is a write-off lap, isn't it? Well off of the pace. Kenny Singleton. Really yet to show the full force of his pace in the Formula Sprint 2 Championship so far this season, as he's fairly down the order in terms of championship standings. There's 54 drivers now to represent in this championship, and Kenny Singleton right in the pack. And in fact, I'm trying to find him on the standings list. He's down in 40.
From what I saw with Kenny had quite a good lap time, but I think he went wide somewhere, so his last lap didn't count. So he still is in P27 now in this qualifying session, but I think he will have the pace for the top 10 in qualifying, but he needs to put it up there. While Jack Mayer now jumps into P4.
Maxime Bilou jumps up to 10th with the 120.5. The other Team RNG car of Scott Morris is on an improved lap, still a second off of the pace of the leader, and a second around this track is usually ever so slightly more. And well, compared to a regular track, of course, it's a very short circuit, so a second is a more significant margin than on other circuits. It's going to be 122.2, so not breaking out into the top 20 was Morris, but still improving.
Let's see what Kenneth can do. I think not a brilliant lap, but he will get a lap time in now. No, actually he's going into the pits, so he will all focus on the next run for him. But I believe he can still put in a decent lap. But yeah, it would have been better for him if he already had the banker in and he could improve on that banker. Now all the pressure will be on that 1 or 2 final laps he will have. So see where he ends up. I look at the timing. And let's see. Yeah.
Caitlin Benny come across the line. Will be an improvement, but only to 19th. And a couple more drivers improving. Remco being one of them. Spark Racing Team back to their original livery. And that wonderful McLaren style. And he'll hop across the line. Oh, no, he won't hop across the line. Oh, he'll spin across the line. And, well, he'll get it back going again, so he won't have to escape to the pits, you'd assume. But Remco does basically bottling his lap. Ruben Machete is improving.
Yeah, and it's very easily done because the way how the circuit works is that the final few corners, they are having a bit of height differences. And if you want to nail the final corner, you can gain a lot of time. And if you're just a little bit too late with your turn in, you don't have any room to play with. And then of course you will spin. Yeah, getting
very easy.
Yeah, getting it right is more difficult. It could easily be a fraction off, which shouldn't result in a spin. But yeah, if you get it right, like you see here with Ruven, that was, I think, absolutely spot on. Then you can gain a lot.
And not going to be an improvement from Ruven. It's like 2,000th of a second. And what more does he have to do to go faster? But, well, he still stays on pole position. It looks like Red Ven are essentially checked out and gone here, as they have got the top 2 positions absolutely locked out. But yeah, as you said with Luca, just ran a little bit wide, got onto that nasty green curb even. And, well, the grass then was enough to send him round. The car essentially bottomed out. So something that can be done very, very easily around Austria, as we see Yusuf Bin Soil for GPVWC Academy go 13th. And unusual to see Yusuf in the Academy car. I don't think I've seen him in the Academy car so far.
I believe he was there before, ? Oh, now I've also got Olaf, who puts in green and green lap times. Let's see, can he?
I apologise to cut you off, Menno, but we've got Stephen Lecto going purple in the first sector by 1/10 of a second, and a 1/10 off of pole position in the second sector. But something that can easily be made up. He's got 2 corners to make up that time, and goes through the first one rather nicely. The car sparks at the back over the curb. Stephen Lexo looking to leapfrog his teammates, and in fact leapfrog Luke Mitchell as well. Now, is he going to be able to do it? He is. Pole position for Stephen Lexo at the moment by 600ths of a second.
So actually, to the last corner, he was going in much more aggressive, and I was like, "Is that the right approach?" But in the end, yeah, he went to provisional pole, so that's very interesting. Let's see what can Soterius do. He is now from P12. Can he improve? No, and Jack Mayer goes to pole. Jack Mayer goes to pole.
As Jack Mayer does leapfrog both of the Red Ven cars and sets a pole position lap time that perhaps is a little bit unexpected here, Jack Mayer. He was outside of the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, and then comes and sets pole position lap time with 1 minute and 14 seconds to go. So essentially, you've got to be starting your lap soon enough to, you've got to at least be on your out lap at the moment to have a chance at going again here. As we see Panasenko will be able to go again, but isn't going to improve on this particular lap. I don't think he does improve actually in the end, but I don't think it jumps him a position for his troubles. Piotr is on an improved lap as well.
Piotr only 28, so he can do much better. Let's see if this lap is already the lap. I don't think so, but he will have one more for him. And he now moves to P25, so that's already 3 places, but can he improve in this next lap? We see Caitlin with a good improvement in Sector 1. Can she jump a position? Yes, he can. She's now in P19, so it's a decent lap. What can Massimiliano do?
He's made a mistake. And same thing as the other car on the grass and the Remco. It didn't spin that time from Massi Ribali as the checkered flag starts to fly.
Look at Lehoux, because Lehoux is on an actual flyer. He could very well maybe jump further. No, he runs wide, and that's not an improvement from Alex. But I believe Alex went all in with that final corner, and I think you should. Oh, we had a half spin there.
And, well, no one purple. Crucially on this lap, Ruben Bichedes into the pits. Stephen Lexo isn't improving. He's gone.
But Tommy is improving on his own time. Can he get into the top 10? He's now 11. I think he can. He can. Can he? No, he can't. So
it was an improvement, but not by enough. It was to see Luca Gray fly through. And,
he can jump. P7 for Luca. That's
7th
good.
for Luca Gray. And Luca Gray actually messaged me during the week and was very excited to have signed last week's race winner and the reserve for Jack West for King's Racing. And Luca Gray excitedly messaged me saying we've signed him, and then turns out he actually had essentially stiffed them and gone and signed for another team. I don't think he's on the grid tonight, but Luca was laughing about that in DMs. And Jack Mayer takes pole position here as once we get confirmation of results, we'll be off to warm up.
Yeah, and that's how you see it goes. You focus on a few guys, and then in the mid pack you see a lot of green sector time, so we fully focus on that. But then Jack Mayer steals the pole position away from the 2 red fan cars. Will be very interesting. Luke Mitchell, like always, is there in P4. Alex Lehoux very strong in P5 with Silver Joffert. I think Silver Joffert is really strong in P6. Luca Gray P7 with Mikel Tumala, Scott Mitchell, and Massimiliano Riboli rounding out the top 10. Now we've got Dan Hajek in P11 with Tommy Koivu in P12, Maxime Brilu in P13, Sotiris Kontougoudis in P14, Yusuf Bin Suhail in P15 with Kenneth Singleton, I should say, in P16. So there was a good last lap from him. With Remco De Zeeuw in P17, Jos Downer in P18, Alessandro Valente in P19, Jack Nichols only in P20, but still within a second fall. Keep that in mind. Osama Knani back in P21. Caitlin Penny P22nd, P23rd from Mihailo Vizincevic, Will Gibson P24, Piotr Adamczyk P25, Olaf van der Stam P26, Seva Panasenko P27, Scott Morris P28, and no time for Tom Ely in P29.
And we'll be going to a break for the 10 minutes or so of warm-up, and we'll be back once it's drawing to a close, so we'll see you in a moment. welcome back to Austria, everybody, for Formula Sprint 2. I am Tom Dillon, and alongside me today is Menno Klont. And after what was a spectacular qualifying session, really down to the wire, Jack Mayer stealing pole position out of absolutely nowhere with a track so dependent on the DRS. It should be an absolutely incredible race here, back and forth for the entire 18 laps of this one. And well, Menno, predictions on the winner of today's first race?
Oh, very, very difficult. But yeah, it should be one of the first 5 guys at the start. So I would say they all could be in there, because yeah, the one that is leading after 2 or 3 laps, will that one be far enough away to not have any problems with the DRS from the guys behind? That's the question. So I would say the top 5 guys from that first race, so from the top 5 positions where they start, should be, yeah, they should be the ones that should go for the podiums and for the win. Of course, yeah, a lot can change, but yeah, that's what my prediction would be. And let's see what the rest does, and especially between P10, P15 will be very interesting to see who potentially will be on pole for race 2.
And a reminder of the calendar. It's been up on your screen for quite a while now, but we'll remind you anyway. After here, we go to Hungary, then Belgium, then Italy, and then it's the Asian and South American legs of this season with Singapore, Japan, Mexico, and Brazil. We're actually getting quite close to the end of the season, dare I say it now. And it ends in October, and 3-4 months' time, October. So not very long to go now at all, really heading towards the business end of the season. One column already ticked off, and of course with the championship standings having, as I'm actually scrolling back through, Ruben Machete at the top. It looks like today he could extend his lead a little bit more if he carries on the form that he has shown. Of course, unfortunately for Ruben, not an incredible performance at Great Britain. A little bit of a recovery drive to 7th and 4th, but obviously that double in Canada doing a lot for him. And with 11 points as a buffer to the guys behind, Ruben Machete surely has got to start to think that this championship is one that he can go on and win.
Yeah, very interesting to see what he can do. Yeah, but all about the start as well. Let's see if it will all be clean. This first corner is quite tense. You got a lot of room which you can take around the outside, so you can go off track to avoid carnage. So let's see if that actually is needed.
And well, as we wait for the formation lap, as it does get underway now, and it's going to be Jack Mayer, of course, who leads the pack on through. And it's really going to be a race about trying to break that DRS train in the first 3 laps here for Jack Mayer. And if he can do that, then he should go on to win this one. As Menno, a rapid fire order. It's a very short track here.
Yes, so it's Jack Mayer on pole position with Stephen Lexlow in P2, Ruben Machete in P3, with Luke Mitchell in P4. Then from 5 to 8, it's Alex Lehoux, Silver Joffert, Luca Gray, and Mikael Tomala. Then in 9th position, we've got Scott Mitchell with Massimiliano Riboli in P10, Dan Heineck in P11, and Tommy Koivunen in P12. Then in P13 we will have Maxime Bulu, and in 14th his teammate Sotirios Kontagouris. Yusuf Bin Suhal in P15 and Kenneth Singleton in P16, with Remco de Zeeuw in P17, Josh Downward in P18, Alessandro Valenti P19 and Jack Nichols in P20. Then in P21st we've got Caitlin Penny with Will Gibson in P22nd, Piotr Adamczyk in P23rd, and Olaf van der Stam in P24. P25th is for Steva Panashenko with Scott Morris in P26, Tom Dillon P27 and Mihailo Vincencevic in P28. Rounding out our 29 starters grid is Osama Knani in P29, just behind his teammate for ST Racing. Let's see what this race will bring. We're almost there.
Should bring quite a lot with those red racing cars right up the gearbox of Jack Mayer, and I'm sure they will be throughout the entirety of this one. And of course, it's a very short track here, as we said, a 1 minute 19 lap in qualifying, and as we said, it gets close to the sub 1 minutes in Formula 1 now, and in a couple of years' time we'll probably be there. But a couple of burnouts for the last place starter, and the green flag does fly, so we are going to go to the light sequence here in Austria. It is 5 red lights, and it is lights out and away we go for the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's a good start from Jack Mayer as he moves to cover off the red racing duo on the inside, and in fact it's going to be Stephen Lexo who gets through on Ruven Machete immediately in front of the start, and everyone filters on through nice and safely. No incidents at the moment. We see one of the Alfa Sierra cars coming under pressure by, I think that might be Alex Laho around the outside, and now Stephen Lexo immediately tries to go for the move around the outside. That would be very brave and very audacious on the first lap of this race, and he's going to have a good stab at it with perhaps the better line down into the right-hander, but in the end he just has to back out of that one as Jack Mayer goes a little bit defensive. Ruben Machete almost hits his teammate, inch perfect there, just avoiding it as we look at Massimiliano Riboli and trying to get on through with Scott Mitchell now going around the outside of one of the Spark cars, and just in the end has to settle for 8th.
Well, I'm looking in the bit further into the grid to see if there are any incidents, and I think everything is going all right. We've got a bit of hard racing already, but no drama at the moment.
We have got drama. It's Kenny Singleton has got into the wall and lost both his front wing and rear wing, but he should be able to get that one back to the pits. It's not too far away, as now Stephen Lexo leads from Ruben Machete in the little red racing duo, but Jack Mayer able to hold onto the lead at the moment. Of course, DRS not enabled till the next lap. There's a lot of slipstream though for Stephen Lexo, who now might be able to go and try and make the move down the inside. He's got the speed. He's going to be forced to the outside by Jack Mayer. Once again, he tried it on the previous lap. He wasn't able to do it on the previous lap, and it looks like Stephen Lexo is not able to do it on this lap either. They're still side by side, but I think Jack Mayer might just have a little bit of extra straight line speed as they head down into the right-hander, as Stephen Lexo's going to try and put one around the outside still, and Jack Mayer just about to say that he's not through.
Outside will be inside now, so I think he now is right. I think Stephen can do this, but Jack wants to walk the corner with him. He can't.
Squeezed and Lexo's through in the end. And Ruben Machete now tries to attack Jack Mayer, and he's down the inside. Is Ruben Machete? Can he just about squeeze his way through?
Look at Luke! Luke will go for P2. He knows he's got to run now. He needs to go for it. He doesn't go for it, but he takes P3. So it's now Luke Mitchell going to P3 while Jack Mayer goes off. So change. It's now Stephen Lexo in first position with Jack Mayer now in second, with Luke Mitchell in P3 and Ruben Machete now in P4. But there comes Alex Laho, and Alex Laho will go around the outside of the young German, and he can't pass. We're now at lap 3. Well, we now have got DRS enabled, and Silver Joffert is going for the attack at Alex Laho. But now everybody needs to be very smart, because if you're outside of DRS...
Luke Mitchell goes to the move for second position, Menno, and it looks like he might just have it. The DRS really helped him there, but in the end he has to settle for third, and not for long though, as Ruben Machete now is going to try and replicate what his teammate did on the previous lap and go around the outside, albeit on a different car. He brakes as late as he can, but unfortunately just ahead of him was Jack Mayer, and that almost was going to be a careering into the back of Jack Mayer.
Yeah, and now it will be very interesting. Everybody needs to stay within that second to have DRS in free lap time, and I believe everybody still is there. So there are a bit of fighting, but they're still within a second, I believe, from the guys behind. And I see an overtake from P7 for Scott Mitchell. Scott Mitchell is going on the attack from Luca Gray and goes to P7. Now he's got the inside. It goes side by side. Luca Gray and Scott Mitchell. Scott Mitchell has it, and Luca Gray goes off the track even more. And now it's Mikael Tumal who's got to run on Luca Gray. He can go to the inside. Will he brake later? I think he can't. Yeah, he will. And he overtakes. Mikael Tumal overtakes, but now Luca Gray is coming back with more speed. And are we going 3 wide? No, don't go 3 wide. That will end up badly. It's Ribuli, and Ribuli actually fought. No, let's not do that.
And Tuamala is through, and it's a bit of a Verstappen Leclerc there. It looked like Luca Gray actually had to take a little bit of avoiding action, but Massey is through as well in that particular little gaggle. There's a DRS train forming here for second position as Stephen Lexo's down the road.
And I can tell you, Alex Lehoux didn't have DRS, so he needs to drive back in DRS quite soon. Otherwise, they will check out numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Alex needs to drive his best sectors now to be able to get DRS back. If he gets back into DRS, I can see him getting back to this group. And he is trying very hard, Alex Lehoux, to get back to that group. Let me see if I can see the timing. I think
as Ruben Bichette now falling back a little bit on the 2 and 3 in this race, and they haven't got DRS on Stephen Lexo of course at this stage, and Ruben Bichette really stuck between a rock and a hard place, can't quite find a way through. The DRS is powerful here, but when you're in a DRS train, it's so difficult to formulate an overtake, and we've seen that all year long with Luca Gray now trying to make a move on Massimiliano Riboli. He's also stuck in a DRS train, and the question is whether he's able to slide on through, as Tuamala is going to be pretty firm in the 8th position there. And the other Spark Racing team looking to make progress in this race, with Remco Dessert trying to get up to 19th position. We go back to Ruben Bichette actually, and a little bit closer on this occasion to Luke Mitchell, but still not able to find a way through.
Yeah, so now I looked into the gap Alex Lehoux has, and Alex Lehoux is on 1.1, 1.2 of Ruben Mercedes, so he doesn't have DRS. He needs to get closer. You need to work for it, Alex, and then you can get back in that podium fight. So he needs to hope he can get back in that fight. He is taking a lot of risk.
I think Lalo would be pretty happy to just finish 5th here and just settle the ship and steady it after a rocky patch.
Yeah, you would say that, but I think I know Alex a bit, and I think he's got a bit of an ambition to be better. Of course, he won a race already, and P5, of course, is decent points, and that's the first thing he wants. But if
there's a huge crash, and it's one of the RNG cars. It's one of the Rowan GP cars. It's Dan Hayek. And 3 cars on the pit straight, all without a wing. It was Scott Morris involved. Hayek's into the pits. He's out of this race. And as I look through, it's Kenny Singleton as well. He's out. Piotr Adamczyk is also out of the race. And that was a dramatic crash indeed. As we go to a replay, let's see what's happened here. Someone got onto the grass, and then it looks like it was going to be a little bit of maybe an unsafe rejoin, as we'll have to wait and see. There was an equal mistake, and even though Dan Hayek was a sitting dog, it's careered the RNG car across this circuit.
The thing is, with Dan, I think he tried his best to get safely on track, but it would always be difficult to go back on track, and there should have been a yellow flag. So yeah, this was maybe avoidable, but also a bit unlucky. We've got Remco Dessert off with his rear wing loss, so we've got a bit of damage now. Mihailo Vincevic without a front wing, Olaf van der Stam without a front wing, so they all need to pit. So loads of things are now actually changing. But at the front,
Bichette, is looking like he's pretty safe to go for a move. He had to think about it down into, I think that's turn 4, with Silver Yoffer going for a very, very bold move down the inside up into 5th position. That was very bold and very well executed in the end, but Ruben Bichette really sensed an opportunity there, wasn't quite able to make it work. You could see the car had a little bit of a wriggle as he thought about showing the inside and then wasn't able to do it in the end. Michael Tuamala is overtaken by Massimiliano Riboli. In fact, Riboli might be the one being overtaken. He's going very defensive, that's for certain. But right now, he stays in 8th position. And, well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that podium battle. And Machete would feel very disappointed not to be. No, he's made a mistake again.
And where is he? Yes, he is already down the order and he still needs to pit. So it's P18 for Alex Lehoux. You said he should have been happy with at least a P5 and now he went off. And I hope we can see what happened there. Oh, it's such a shame because he's got so much talent. Yeah, and he now goes over the line there. But yeah, with his front wing broken, of course, the car doesn't steer.
Luke Mitchell now tries to get back past Ruben Machete. We missed the overtake that Ruben Machete made to get through into 3rd position, and he is able to defend on this occasion. But my fear is that they're just slightly losing touch with Jack Mayer ahead of them, and I believe they are actually out of DRS range. So it is a little bit of a scrap between Mitchell and Machete, with Tuamala now trying to make a move on Massimiliano Riboli. He's not quite able to make one around the outside, and it looks like Machete as well has held on to 3rd position for his troubles. Is in fact, Mayer has broken into the DRS zone for the lead of this race.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure if you already saw the Lehoux incident, but he just came out in P22. So P22 after a front nose cone change. Yeah, I think he's got no chance for a point scoring position unless something dramatic happens. But yeah, he needs to drive on to have the best starting position for race 2. Of course, if you're not in the top 15, you will start from the position you finish.
Luke Mitchell still stuck behind Ruben Machete. Hasn't got the DRS. Ruben Machete hasn't got the DRS, I should say, on Jack Mayer. Only just, though, he's absolutely racing along, and Luke Mitchell not quite able to have any answers here. And in fact, he might have just crept into DRS range as Ruben Machete. He has. Look at that. The rear wing flap does open in the end. So Ruben Machete now able to have a bit of an attack for 2nd position. In fact, I thought for a second he thought about it, but in fact, no, the car's well down the road. He did pull to the right slightly to have a look down the inside. I wonder what Ruben Machete was doing there, unless my eyes are playing tricks on me. But no, Luke Mitchell slightly falling down away from them at this stage. 2nd in the championship, 11 points behind the man ahead of him. And really not able to hold on to a position where he was ahead on track of his championship rival at this stage. And Jack Mayer actually seems to have a very, very quiet season, but he's quietly 2nd, 3rd in the championship, I should say even. And, well, he's not far away from a chance at winning.
Oh, but look at Ruven. Ruven now's got DRS, and Jack doesn't have DRS anymore, so now he's get closer and closer. Mistake from both of them out of that corner, but Ruven will have DRS. Ruven will go into the attack for P2 for Jack Mayer. I think Jack will go for the inside, so Ruven needs to go around the outside. There he goes. Goes
he's
around
going
the
to think
outside.
about the switchback, actually, is Ruben Machete.
Yeah.
And, whilst he's not quite able to make the switch back, he is able to get DRS for the 2nd time, and Mayer has got DRS off of the back marker. He gets out of the way. It was Kenny Singleton, I think. In fact, no, it was Scott Morris as Singleton's out of the race, and Ruben Machete thinks about one around the outside, not able to make it, steers way too early into the corner, and it's a bit of a mistake from Ruben Machete, but a lucky reprieve by Jack Mayer.
Yeah, so Jack is, for now, is still ahead. And let me see who is getting fast. Yeah, Luke Mitchell is just, a bit behind looking what happens in front, but he cannot capitalize on it. While Surfer is now, Silver Jovet is driving a decent race in P5, which got Mitchell now in P6. And now we've got the leader of this 2nd group, if I can call it that. That's Massimiliano Riboli, who's leading Tomala, Luca Gray, Alessandro Valente, and then we've got Yusuf Bin Suhail in P11.
Here we go then. Ruben Machete has got DRS once again. and he's got a real opportunity as Tom Ely has a bit of a spin, but crucially, Ruben Machete is very, very close here, so we'll leave Tom to one side for a moment if he will forgive us that much, but Ruben Machete really pushing Jack Mayer now at this stage. It's got to be a couple of tenths separating them, and it's taking him a couple of DRS zones to catch up, but Ruben Machete well into the slipstream, well into the DRS. He's going to pull to try and make a move, and again it's one of those where he just kind of teases Mayer and not able to make or find a way through, and you just feel that through this final sector it's not really. It's Marlow actually makes a contact with Massimiliano Riboli and falls down a couple of positions down to 9th. Alejandro Valente now trying to get involved in that battle, but you feel, as I was saying, that Ruben Machete is just always teasing Jack Mayer.
Yeah, that's very true, but can he pass? We will see. But a great fight also between Massimiliano Riboli and Tumala and Luca Gray. I don't think it was anything unfair what happens there. We just all went for the inside of the corner, and then somebody will still have the outside of the corner if you go that next side by side. Well, Luca Gray has got a better exit on the start-finish straight. We're already at lap 12 here. And
here's the move from Ruben Machete. He's going to try and now go surely around the outside. Jack Mayer defends the inside as much as he can, but it might not be enough to hold off Ruben Machete, who before the corner almost gets on his way through, but Mayer just on the inside a little bit better, and Ruben Machete makes a slight mistake, and now he's going to have a second bite at the cherry as we see Luca Gray trying to go for a switchback on Massimiliano Riboli. It's not going to be, and I think Machete has stayed behind.
Yes, so the one mistake actually Ruben made is that he actually got ahead before the DRS zone, so he actually went more in, and that's allowed Jack to have the DRS over there. So Jack still has got this in P2. Can he keep this for the whole of the race? We shall see.
And I'm not too sure. It's still only 7 tenths per second separating those two. So just going to be a couple more laps for Ruben Machete to get back closer. We're already on lap 12 of 18 of this race, so not very long to go at all now. And Machete is still, I'd say, probably favourite for that second position. And, of course, the Red Ven Racing 1-2.
Yeah, and I would say Scott Mitchell is now the guy who is on the move, because he is really quick and actually gaining a bit on Silver Joffert, while Silver Joffert is actually gaining a little bit on Luke Mitchell at the moment. Luke Mitchell now is, I think, out of DRS.
As immediately, Ruben Machete is back, and this time surely is going to go for the move, as he's not trying to make the same mistake he did last time, and he's going to go again around the outside and make contact with Jack Mayer, but he's now practically pushing him into this DRS zone. He's going to have the DRS as well on this occasion, and now around the outside, surely Ruben Machete is going to be able to get this move, as it's going to be battle of the late breakers. Jack Mayer stays ahead, and Machete can't quite find the switchback. He's fishing for the switchback, he's trying to get it, and it's not quite working out for him at this stage. He's still going to have 5 laps at the line to try and make this move, so we've got plenty of time, but right now Ruben Machete will be getting a little bit frustrated.
Yes, but he needs to think about his championship. Of course, winning always is the thing you want, but P3 at this I think moment in the championship is more than enough. At least that's my opinion. Well, it's getting a bit dark over here.
He's getting a little bit dark, and Ruben Machete still tries to push on, and well, at this stage still a little bit too far behind. It's this first DRS zone where he's really catching up, and then he's just being shown that outside, and it's not really working for him. He needs to put a brave move down the inside, you feel, to really make a positive move in this race, and he now actually has got a pretty good exit out of turn 3, and now Machete is going to have a real opportunity down into the right-hander, and I'm not too sure if he's going to be close enough to do it.
But Scott Mitchell is for P5. Scott Mitchell around the outside of Silver Joffert. He can't, at the moment he can't, but Scott Mitchell seems to be really fast the last couple of laps, and we now have got Jack Mayer and Ruben Machete side by side, but Ruben cannot do it. Will cross to the inside. If Ruben can do it here, it will be amazing. No, he can't make it stick now. Jack will run a little bit wide. Who will come for the inside? It is still Jack Mayer, or Ruben stays on the racing line. Oh, this is going to be really hard fought, and this will make them both lose a lot of time. And I now already see Luke Mitch, who was out of DRS, he is back into this soon. No, he's not, because Luke is running wide as well, but he's got DRS back. So Luke Mitchell has got DRS back. And this battle for P2 is very, very intense. It's still Jack Mayer, but Jack needs to nail every exit now. Another exit done, but there comes Ruven Machete around the outside, and he's earlier, I think, next to Mayer than he was in all previous occasions. Can he outbrake him now? Jack will brake later, take the inside. It's still Jack who is ahead. But now Ruven is already alongside, and he will have the DRS. No, he will not have the DRS. It's Jack Mayer who's got the DRS.
It's horrendous for Ruven Machete, who really just isn't able to get the run with the green in this race. He tries to go back around the outside. It's not quite going to work, and Mayer makes a slight mistake. And now Machete's going to try and make the move. We can't see what's happened because Scott Mitchell's getting through for 5th position, and it's down the inside. He's got Joffert alongside him, and Machete still stuck behind Jack Mayer, and he can't get through for 2nd position in this race. The championship leader, he's been so close all race long, and he can't quite find the way through, and these are crucial points in the championship, although he doesn't exactly need them. You know, he's got that lead, and he'll extend that lead today, but he's losing points to Jack Mayer, who's 20 points behind him, and that could be huge. And now, actually, as I apologise, Menno, I'm going to have to cut you off as Mayer has to weave here a little bit. Ruven Machete might think about a move down the inside. Not quite going to happen. The corner's quite wide on this version. It goes wide, and that might just give Mayer the opportunity he needs to pull away a little bit and relieve some of that pressure with 3 laps to go in the race. Mayer stays ahead for the time being, and we've seen that this second DRS zone here is not the most powerful for Ruven Machete. He really needs to get to the inside here, because that's where he's going to be able to make this move on Jack Mayer. He's not going to make the same mistake that in hindsight has lost him the win of this race. Now Ruven Machete is going to once again pull to the outside, and I don't think it's going to work for him. He brakes as late as he dares around the outside. He might have a better exit than Jack Mayer this time. The outside becomes the inside, down into the left-hander. Is Machete, as they make contact, going to be able to squeeze on through? He is eventually on Jack Mayer, able to squeeze through. And with 2 laps to go at the line even, Ruven Machete now looks set for 2nd position, surely, with Stephen Lexo 5 seconds down the road.
Yeah, but Jack Mayer is like a pit bull. He will fight back if he has the chance, but will he have the straight line speed to do so? Well, I believe he had an incident between Mikael Tomala and I believe Luca Gray, because they both lost a lot of time.
Look at Machete's defending as we go into the penultimate lap of the race. He really wants to hold on to this position that he's fought so hard for, and if his defence is anything like Jack Mayer, it's going to be very difficult for Mayer to get on through. But I think Mayer might have a little bit more straight line speed in his setup, so I'll have to wait and see how that is affecting anything. And well, at the moment Machete is holding on. This one's going to go down to the very final lap. That being said, Mayer almost went for a switchback there, and that would have been very audacious. Machete shows him the inside line. He
look at
shows him the outside line even, as Mayer switches to the outside, and Machete just brakes that little bit later and holds on to the position on lap 17 of this race. Sylvie Joffert is trying to get through on Scott Mitchell. Sylvie Joffert is going to get through on Scott Mitchell, and maybe a little bit of mistake from the King's Racing driver. And
Scott Mitchell and Sylvie Joffert give us absolute amazing battle. I think that what for all I saw was just such fair racing. So they both go to the absolute limit with giving them both a lot of respect, so it's very good. While Alessandro Valente is now very close to Massimiliano Riboli for P7, so let's see where
one more opportunity for Jack Mayer to try and steal 3rd position, 2nd position even, back from Ruven Machete. And right now, Ruven Machete is sort of checking out on the final lap of the race. Alejandro Valente tries to go through on Massimiliano Riboli. Once again, not going to really make an overtake into turn 1. And, well, Riboli now going to have to defend for his life down into the turn 3 hairpin.
Mistake from Ruven Macheda. I think he's reared locked. And now Jack Mayer is up there. He will have to DRS. He's got one more chance. He goes to the inside. Ruven opened the door and Jack says, thank you. I will go to the inside. Is this a problem with Ruven's car or not? Now he's getting back to it. But Jack now...
and he's going to send one down the inside. Is Ruven Macheda. It's around the outside. He tries to go for the move. He banks on having the better speed to the corner. They make contact. And Ruven Macheda is forced a little bit wide. And Jack Mayer is going to hold on to second position in the race. He just went for that move down the inside. It was conventional to go around the outside there, and he decided to actually go down the inside, and it upset Ruven Macheda a little bit, and he finishes third, or he will finish third in the end, with Stephen Lexo completing what is an incredible victory from second position by 6 seconds, I think, in the end, as Jack Mayer does come home for second in the end, with Ruven Macheda in third. Now, the real question is, Alejandro Valente does get past Massimiliano Riboli, and he's going to finish sixth.
And Scott Mitchell without a front wing, what happened there in the final lap? Did something happen? Can we see a replay of it? Well, Tommy Koivunen is finishing in P9. Yusuf Bin Sohail gets a career best P10, I believe. We're just down at P11. Jack Nichols P12. Osama Kanani in P13 with Maxime Bill very close in P14. And then we wait for the final point scoring position for Scott Morris. Let's see. Scott Morris is nearly there. And he will be happy. He had a bit of a slow start of this season, but now he gets another points finish in. Yeah, it will be very close. I believe from the guy behind, but he finishes in the final point scoring position. I do ask my cameraman, do we have can we see what the incident of, we don't have a replay, so we don't know what happened with Scott Mitchell on the final lap.
And we'll grab you the confirmation of at least the provisional results before penalties, and then we will get a quick break through the warm up and the as we wait for race 2 here. Here are your results. And just in time, actually. Stephen Lexo wins the race. Jack Mayer in second position. Ruven Macheda finishes a hard for third, with Luke Mitchell down in fourth. Sylvie Joffe finishes fifth. Very, very interesting from him. He's not really been all too around the top 5 this season, but fifth position for Sylvie Joffe. Alejandro Valente finishes in sixth position. I believe that might be a race 1 best for Alejandro Valente. It is definitely a race 1 best for Alejandro Valente. In fact, it's a season best for Alejandro Valente, with Massimiliano Riboli finishing down in 7th. Scott Mitchell finishes 8th, with Tommy Kuvian in 9th position. Yusuf Bin Soyal manages to recover to 10th position, with Josh Downard in 11th. Jack Nichols in 12th, Usama Kanani in 13th, Maxime Bilu 14th. Scott Morris finishes 15th, and then Sotiris Cognitoris is in 16th. Alex Laho finishes 17th after spinning out early on, with Luca Gray finishing in 18th. Michael Tuamala somehow finishes 19th in the end. We didn't see him spin, but must have done in the end, with Olaf van der Stam finishing 20th for VMS Sun Edits. Remco de Zer is in 23rd, with Mihailo Vintuvic in 22nd. Caitlin Penny is the first of the failing to finish, with Tom Ely, Will Gibson, Siva Pazanenko, Dan Hayek, Kenny Singleton, and Piotr Adam Sik joining her. And well, with that, we're going to go to a quick break for the warm-up session here in Austria, and then we'll be back for race 2. welcome back everybody to Austria for Formula Sprint 2, and after a very, very exciting first race, we're in for an equally as exciting race 2, where the reverse grid number is number 15, so it's going to be Scott Morris on pole position, and of course Stephen Lexo starting in 15th will be chasing the famous double that everyone is always after in this series. I'm Tom Dillon. Once again, joining me is Menno Klont, and Menno, I'm assuming you're expecting more of the same in this race. As we've lost Menno, unfortunately, but I'm sure he'll be back in a moment.
No, I'm here.
Oh, he's back.
I'm here. I'm here. I actually wanted to say is that I'm looking to see something different. Maybe this is the chance for somebody who's now starting higher up because of the reverse grid. Let's see how fast the good drivers or the good point scorers in race 1 actually get, if they can easily go through this field or not. So we'll be very, very interested to see.
And as we wait for the grid to grid up, and not everyone quite on there yet, then we'll get the formation lap underway. Then it's going to be, of course, a second 18-lap race here, and it should fly by as it did in the first one. It should be hotly contested as well, with everyone siphoning their ways through the field. And actually, I want to draw your attention to Jack Nicholls down in 4th. He's someone who's stood on the podium this year, and I reckon Jack Nicholls perhaps in with an outside chance of taking home the win here. He didn't have a great deal of pace in that first race, and I think he finished 12th in the end. And unlikely for him as someone who has finished relatively in the points and sort of right up there in the top 10 all throughout this season. So expecting perhaps Jack Nicholls to get a podium here. But starting order, Menno.
Okay, let's see the starting order. So it is Scott Morris in pole position, with Maxime Bulu in 2nd position, Osama Kanani in 3rd position, and Jack Nicholls in P4. Then we will have Josh Downard in P5, with Yusuf Bin Suhal in P6, Tommy Koiwin in P7, and Scott Mitchell in P8. While we've got in P9, we've got Massimiliano Riboli with Alessandro Valente in P10, Silver Joffert in P11 with Luke Mitchell in P12. P13 for Rufen Meshede, P14 for Jack Mayer, and P15 for Stephen Lexo, with Sotiris Contogoudis in P16. P17 for Alex Lehoux, with Luca Gray in P18, Mikael Tamal in P19, and Olaf van der Stam in P20. P21st is for Remco de Zeeuw, with Mihailo Vincentevic in P22nd, Caitlin Penny in P23rd, Tom Ely in P24th. And then to the final 3 drivers, Will Gibson P25, Seva Panasenko in P26, and the last position is for Dan Hayek in P27. And
it looks like we've actually lost one as well, but no worry, as we grid up ready for race 2 here. And Scott Morris is going to look for Team RNG's first win in the series, a relatively new team, as I understand it, out of the ashes of Aspentino Force Bologna, and I believe that became Team RNG, though I'm happy to be corrected on that one. The grid is formed, and we are going to go to 5 red lights here for race 2.
And
it is lights out and away we go here for race 2 in Austria. It is a good start from Scott Morris, but an even better start from 2nd position in this race. In fact, in the end, it's a pretty poor start from Scott Morris, and there's carnage down into turn 1, not least of one of the King's racing cars of Scott Mitchell, who's round and a half spin. He's tapped back in the end. The sword on the grass is Alejandro Valente, and they're about 4 wide as they head down into turn 4. Maxime Belu leads the way out of what seems like absolutely nowhere, but it's 3 wide down into turn 1. Jack Nicholls goes to the lead of the race. He makes contacts, and Jack Nicholls is through into the lead of the race. And I don't want to say I called it, but I definitely did call it. But Jack Nicholls, oh no, there's a crash behind as well. It is a huge crash as well, as we ride on board with Luca Gray. He's going to try to scythe his way through the ashes of this crash, and in fact it's cleared by the time he gets there. Scott Mitchell around the outside is going to get through on Luca Gray, and Ruben Machete through all of it is unharmed and up into 7th position. But that was absolutely incredible.
That was an incredible first part of the lap, and I am going to look who has got a problem. I think it's Olaf van der Stam, who lost a lot of time. But how many drivers? And I believe we've got Osama Kanani without a front wing. Let's see. Oh, and he takes another car out.
And oh no, that's not how you go across the track, Kanani.
Oh, and a huge flip!
Scott Mitchell has flipped into the air. And oh, there's even more carnage. There's about 5 cars involved, and I can't physically count who it was. But oh no, it's even more carnage. And oh, this is one of the most horrendous scenes I've seen in a sim race in my entire life.
Oh,
and well, there must have been about 8 cars involved in that, and that was absolutely horrific to look at. As Silver Yoffert now makes it 3 wide for 3rd position in the race. He's on Massimiliano Rivoli, and Rivoli is able to squeeze his way through with Ruben Machete trying to come on through as well on lap 2 of 18 of this race. Absolutely everything has happened so far, and well, I honestly think a jumbo jet could land on the pitch straight now and it wouldn't be a surprise in this race.
Well, yeah, what happened is that Osama Knani lost his front wing, and when he was turning in, there was somebody at his side, and without a front wing, he can just, he tries to turn, but the car creates a lot of understeer, and then you've got everybody like flies on a magic carpet, and then, they all hit each other, and we've got an incident which made the incident in F1 look minor in comparison from what we just saw. But I believe most of them are still driving. Let's say some without.
Miraculously, Scott Mitchell is still driving after being on his roof for a portion of that. That incident, as we see, actually, that's Yoffert down the inside on the academy car with Yusuf bin I should know that, actually. I should know his first name, Yusuf, and it evaded me for a second. But Ruben Machete now around the outside on Maxime Bilo, isn't it? No, it's on Massimiliano Rivoli, of course. And I was looking at the timing tower wrong.
Maxime goes to the lead. Maxime Bilo makes a move on Jack Nicholls, and Maxime Bilo is now leading. But what can Jack Nicholls do? We're already in lap 3, so DRS is now working. So it's Maxime Bilo goes to the lead, the Canadian, and then it's Jack Nicholls in P2. Massimiliano Rivoli now in P3, but look at Ruben Machete already in P4. He
doesn't want to do what he did in the previous race, Ruben Machete, and that is attack for all race long and not quite able to reap the rewards of it. Stephen Lexo is going to sweep one around the outside of Luca Gray, and they do make contacts, but Lexo just about muscles his way through there, and it wasn't the most convincing move of his career, but he's into 11th position, and that's all that matters in hindsight. Nicholls has still got DRS on Bilu just ahead. Ruben Machete's got DRS on Massimiliano Rivoli, who I believe must have DRS on Nicholls as well, as he does. So it's a DRS train, that's for certain. But Machete's going to try and sneak one through down the inside into turn 1. He's going to think against it in the end. And now with Rivoli making a slight mistake, it's going to open the door for Machete down the inside, perhaps down into turn 3 as he's onto the grass. And this would be an absolutely incredible pass in the end, but it's not going to be, as Machete now is going to have to dive one down the inside. He goes around the outside instead of the inside and looks for the switchback again, not quite able to open up the corner as you would need for a switchback, as we see Bilu now trying to get back past Jack Nicholls, who must have passed him on the previous straight as we were watching Machete and Rivoli, as we see Machete and Rivoli as they almost come together through the right-hander, and Rivoli just holds on to it, but Jack Nicholls does lead the race.
Hey, Jack Nicholls, yes, does lead the race with Maxime Bilu in P2. Actually, I think Maxime is helping Massimiliano a bit, because if he can stay in DRS, it will be more difficult for Ruben to pass Massimiliano, because he already got DRS as well then. Well, Sylvia Ford again in P5 with Yusuf bin Sahal in P6. Yes, that's looking very good from the guy from, I believe, driving under an Italian license. Michael Tomala now in P7, and Alessandro Valente, there he is again. He finished P6 last race, now in P8.
Oh, move for the lead of the race, and it is going to be lead down the inside. Oh no! Nichols has lost 2 positions because of Bilu's move down the inside, and it's not quite a spin, as Menno said.
Oh!
It's going to be even more dramatic. It's going to be 4 wide for the lead of the race, and Massimiliano Riboli is going to try and squeeze his way down the inside, and then Jack Nichols is through as well, and oh dear, he's squeezed and squeezed and squeezed as Riboli somehow leads the race. Nichols is somehow still not having his car spun around. Bilu has been one of the big losers of that. Ruben Machete hasn't been able to really make up much ground. He tries to go down the inside, but not quite able to do it. He is in the end as Bilu goes a little bit deep. It is Riboli from Nichols from Machete. And now, who's this? Is this Sylvie Joffer trying to go down the inside? He is going to go down the inside into 4th position. He's going to run wide and open up the door again for Maxime Bilu, who down the inside is going to perhaps get on through. And in fact, Joffer, with just that inside line, able to squeeze his way through into 4th position in the end. And well, Maxime Bilu put up a fight, but in the end, when you've got 4 wide for the lead of the race, it's pretty much anyone's game. But Massimiliano really does come away with the lead of the race from Jack Nichols, from Ruben Machete, with Sylvie Joffer now in 4th position.
We now see Mikael Tomala on the move for P7. No, he can make it. While Yusuf Bin Suhail is going off a bit, while we're now looking at group from P9 to P10 to P13, which is forming a group as well. You've got loads of battles everywhere.
And Auto is a little bit wide, and it's going to allow Yusuf on through, and that's going to be Yusuf into 5th position with Sylvie Joffer still in 6th. Here's Ruben Machete trying to make the move on Jack Nichols, who himself has got a great deal of overspeed on Massimiliano Riboli, and Nichols is going to have to leave the door slightly open. That might allow Ruben Machete to sail on through. Jack Nichols chasing his 3rd podium of the season. Ruben Machete chasing his 2nd podium of the evening, as we switch back to the battle a little bit further behind, as Alejandro Valente is trying to hold on to 6th position. Not quite going to be in the end. Bilu's back up into 5th, and Turo Mola has managed to stay in 8th position, but it stays the same at the front of the field. Massimiliano Riboli from Jack Nichols, from Ruben Machete. Here's Valente down the inside on Bilu for 6th position. It's not quite going to be for him, and Bilu has to, he's going to stay 6th, luckily for him, with Yusuf in a very, very lofty 5th. And, well, it's nice to see a fellow commentator up in 5th position. Ruben Machete still not quite able to find a way through on Jack Nichols, as he really does need to get this move done. Ruben Machete, as it's going to harm his chances of winning this race. Nichols is going to defend as much as he can, but now down the inside, Ruben Machete surely going to have an opportunity to make this move, and Nichols covers it off quite cleverly. Of course, having the DRS on Massimiliano Riboli just ahead of him, and all this contact with Turo Mola almost spinning round on Maxime Bilu. One of the back markers is involved as well, and it's absolute carnage in this race. We're almost halfway through it, but I'm not too sure what's going on, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot has happened, but I believe the crashing just is behind us for, I think, most of the part. We've got 3 drivers now out of the race, which are sadly Luke Mitchell, Scott Morris, our pole sitter, and Dan Hadjic.
And huge for the championship, that Luke Mitchell retiring from the race. Of course, only 11 points behind Ruben Machete, who does lead the championship, and that's going to extend Machete's lead quite significantly from 11 points to, well, quite a few more than that. And he should gain, I believe, plenty of points here, more than 10. And I'm not too sure what the system is exactly. I think it's the MotoGP point system for race 2, but I'm not too sure, as now Machete is still trying to get back through on Jack Nichols, not able to find the move, and he'll start to maybe rue that missed opportunity when it's 4 wide. It really is one of those where it is a great deal about luck, but Machete still will hold himself to a very, very high standard. He's going to try now sneak on through. It's a very late move from Jack Nichols, and oh, he's almost round his machine. It's going to allow Joffer through, and Silver in the end, very opportunistic. Oh, there's another spin as it's Alejandro Valente into the wall in the number 48, and he's well and truly planted into the wall. It was Turo Mola involved in that, and now it's going to be 3 wide with Stephen Lexer. Silver Joffer is into 2nd position out of nowhere. Machete's back into 3rd as well. And Jack Nichols stays in 2nd. So in the end, it's as you were, but a dramatic incident further behind. Here's that battle for 3rd position in the race. Silver Joffer still trying to push Machete on through, and Machete holding firm in third position, having to look in his mirrors rather than forward, which is a little bit counterproductive for what Machete would be hoping. Silver Yoffer still in fourth, and that would be a very, very good position for Silver Yoffer, and I don't think he would mind that one bit. But Machete now really needs to focus on getting ahead of Jack Nicholls, which isn't going to be any mean feat here. Jack Nicholls holding on very, very well to second position, actually slightly pushing Massimiliano Riboli for the win of the race.
Yeah, so the top 4 is still pretty close. We're already at lap 9, so we're halfway. So it's now Massimiliano Riboli who is leading. Then is Jack Nicholls, who smells victory, and then is Ruben Machete still in P3. Well, we have got a mistake from Jack Nicholls. Jack Nicholls will now go defensive. Ruben will go around the outside. Can he make it? He possibly can make it around the outside. He will try to brake later. He brakes later. Can he walk the corner with Jack Nicholls? Yes, he can, but Jack Nicholls is still ahead. Will Ruben go all in or not? I think, yeah, Jack Nicholls tries to stay there, and he is still the guy that is ahead, but good try from Ruben. Well, Silver Joffert is also looking what he can do from here. Silver Joffert has got a good exit out this corner. Will he send one on the inside of Ruben Machete? I don't think he will do it here, and the top 4 is still very, very close.
Jack Nicholls not quite able to find the apex through the penultimate corner here. That perhaps gave Machete a little bit of an opportunity. He's absolutely practically pushing Jack Nicholls through to the line now. Down into turn 1. Is Machete going to go for a move? Machete is going to go for a move, and it's going to push Jack Nicholls out wide. And now it's going to be an opportunity for Silver Joffert to get through on the Brits. Jack Nicholls stays ahead just for the moment, and with the DRS he seems to have a great deal of top speed in that package. That's not going to stop Joffert, though. He goes down the inside. A very, very brave move. Almost collects Ruben Machete, but just about gets into third position in this race. And Jack Nicholls now, who I don't think will have the DRS either on this occasion, is going to have to fight for this podium a little bit more than he has been. As you can see, Nicholls just a little bit further down than he would like to be at this stage, about 0.6 of a second between him and third. Nothing insurmountable, of course, particularly in this race. Will Gibson has just retired from the race, is something that we should note, as we still look at Michael Tuamala trying to get past up into 8th position on Jack Mayer. Of course, Jack Mayer winning the first race here. I can tell you that Ruben Machete has set a purple first sector, and in fact Ruben Machete, a purple second sector either, and in fact Ruben Machete is really, really quite close to Massimiliano Riboli. 0.3 of a second that gap now. Machete is really going to have an opportunity on this occasion, you would think. Jack Nicholls has kind of lost touch a little bit with Silver Joffert, and you can see the gap there visually is opening up quite a fair bit. Massimiliano Riboli is going to defend to the inside. These two are fighting for a podium. Now they're fighting for the race leader. Machete around the outside is going to try and do it. He opens up the corner to go for the switchback. It's a textbook switchback. It's an incredible switchback from Ruben Machete. You could see he premeditated it. That was some very, very smart and clever driving from Ruben Machete, but it's not quite over yet. Now he's got to turn incredible attack into brave defence and down the inside.
Look at this.
Massimiliano Riboli tries it around the outside. He's touched a little bit wide. Silver Joffert is going to try and send one around the outside. He can't find the room quite. He's onto the curb, and Ruben Machete holds onto the lead of the race. Massimiliano Riboli is holding on to second position, but for how long?
Oh, that was a very interesting move. Luckily for Massimiliano, he couldn't get the outright exit speed, and he hit Ruben there, and that's why he couldn't have the exit speed while he was still alongside. While Riboli now got a kick off understeer, and he is to P3. It's Silver Joffert now in P2. Silver Joffert is the main competitor for Ruben Machete, and Ruben Machete already wants to change. Get out of DRS. Well, Silver Joffert and Massimiliano Riboli are fighting really hard, and this is only promoting Ruben into a better position and nearly out of DRS. While Jack Nicholls is still in there in P4. He was not that close for the podium, but he still looks what he can do, and now he's going
to invite Nicholls. This is as Nichols now is going to have the DRS for his troubles as well, and he's going to have an opportunity to pull the wool over the eyes of these two and try and get it into a podium position. He hasn't got the pace, but he's certainly got the racecraft of this Jack Nichols, and in fact, he takes one look at that and thinks, actually, no thank you, I'm going to bag these points for the moment and hope that these two keep having a battle. Silver Yofford's back down the inside on Massimiliano Rivoli. Is he going to be able to get on through? And let's just think about Silver Yofford. He hasn't really been anywhere this season, really, as I'm going to quickly look at his results all season. He's yet to finish in the he's finished in the top 10 once this season as Silver Yofford, as Jack Nichols now tries to go down the inside on Massimiliano Rivoli for third position in the race. He's going to get it, and Rivoli not quite able to do anything. What happened to Yofford? As I was looking down, he's into second, isn't he? And I apologise.
Yes.
I thought for a second he'd spun out. But no, he's not finished in the top 5 all season. He's only finished in the top 10 2 times. And now he's on for second position in this race. That's quite incredible from Silver Yofford. With 6 laps to go, he's looking in a very, very good position.
Also, another man who's on the move is Alex Lehula, who is putting in some really good lap times. And if that group from P2, P3, P4, if they battle too hard, then Lehula gets into that group with around 5 laps to go.
Silver Yofford up 9 positions. He's capitalised on that incredible first lap accident, second lap accident even. All of the accidents, actually, he's capitalised on them absolutely beautifully, and it's going to be the opportunity he needs to try and convert a podium. Jack Nichols is holding on to third position as well, and after his lack of pace in the first race, still managing to finish in 12th, which is a good deal of points for King's Racing. Now Jack Nichols looking to get onto the podium. Massimiliano Rivoli is not going to make it easy for him by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be 5 laps to go as we come to the line. Ruven Machete has practically checked out here. He's in a different postcode to these guys there in Austria. He's in Germany. He's that far down the road, much like his teammate in the previous race. However, Jack Nichols, with a little bit of DRS off of Yofford as well, is going to see if he can just use the DRS train to his advantage. Massimiliano Rivoli looks to be struggling ever so slightly, making a few mistakes. As we see Maxime Bilou try to make a move up into 6th position, but in the end, not quite going to work out for him. And Mayer, in fact, is going to try and send one down the inside. He is going to for 7th position in this race, and it's very, very tentative, and it's very, very treacherous, I should say. Not tentative, as one of my T words was right there, but Jack Mayer is through into 7th position in the race, and that's quite impressive from 15th after winning the previous race. Of course, the reverse grid starts 15th, and second. Oh no, Stephen Lexo won the first race. I apologise. That's completely my bad, as I completely made a mistake earlier in the race as well. I said Jack Mayer won the first race, as he was the pole sitter, but didn't quite win it at the end.
He wished. So yeah.
As James Early asked in the chat, is FS2 the equivalent of Formula Challenge? And yes, it is. It's just they've had a little bit of a rebrand to make the series a little bit more approachable to newcomers.
Yes, and a bit more 2022-ish, I guess. So we've got a battle for P2 now at Silver Yofford, but it is Jack Nichols who tried to put in an electrifying pass, but he can't not do it. Now he doesn't have DRS, but Jack Nichols wants that second position. Well, I think Jack Nichols will already need binoculars to see where Ruven Machete is, but he is going all in for that second position. This is still for Silver Yofford, and Massimiliano Rivoli is now in P4, but also thinks about it. And there is Alex Lehou. He is back. The guy from France will now show that, yeah, it's never too late to challenge for a podium, and don't count him out.
But well, we have 3 laps to go at the line. It should be an absolutely incredible finish to what has been an absolutely incredible race. And well, Ruven Machete isn't quite going to give the grandstand finish that we would have hoped for the win, but it's going to be for second position as well. It's anyone's game here, and Jack Nicholls still holds on to third position, but Massimiliano Rivoli is absolutely pushing him as they head into the penultimate lap of the race, if that makes any sense. The Jack Nicholls now actually is going to try and make a move around the outside. He goes on Silver Yoffer for second position in the race. Jack Nicholls is going to have the straight line speed, and he's going to just about be able to cut off Silver Yoffert and get up into second position, which is going to be crucial heading into the final 2 laps of the race. That's going to allow Massimiliano Rivoli to get a little bit of extra exit speed and try and pressure Silver Yoffert down into the right-hander. Jack Nicholls is going to find himself under pressure from Yoffert as well, and it's going to almost be 3 wide as they head down into the left-hander. I think it's turn 9, and Yoffert is making a mistake, and Rivoli is through into third position in the race, and now Yoffert down the inside again, tries to come back at Rivoli. They make a little bit of contact. Rivoli slightly wide, and Yoffert is still holding on to his first podium for his first top 5 finish in Formula Sprint 2 this season. Jack Nicholls is currently getting a little bit of breathing room to the guys behind us. Yoffert now defends from Rivoli, who goes around the outside. Here is Alex Laho trying to get back all of these guys after spinning himself out of race 1. As with 2 laps to go now, Massimiliano Rivoli desperately wants a podium. Alex Laho desperately wants a top 5 finish, but I think he'd take a podium as well, as Yusuf Bin Soyol gets a penalty a little bit further down the order. And Laho, no, he's almost held on to it, as he has held on to it in the end. Alex Laho, my life flashed before my eyes there, let alone his.
Yes, Silver Yoffert really wants to have that podium, and he goes all in for our P2. And now he's there alongside. Who will have DRS into the second straight? I think it will be Yoffert, and it is Nicholls. And while Yoffert now doesn't have the DRS, now it opens it for Ripoli, and Ripoli tries it. Yoffert is out of the race. No, he isn't out of the race, but he got a move on, and I think there was no room for Yoffert. I think this was not Yoffert's fault.
And what happened there was Rivoli just didn't expect Yoffert to be as close to him as he was as they head into the final lap of this race. Alex Laho is going to get a podium through it all, surely. He's got to hold off Massimiliano Rivoli, but I suspect that there's going to be a penalty for Massi Rivoli after that one, as I don't like to jump to conclusions on things, but really, whilst it wasn't malicious, it definitely was his mistake, and I think he'd admit that himself. But Alex Laho now holds on to third position, as Jack Mayer somehow has got himself up to 5th position, and that is absolutely huge. Heading on to the final lap of the race then, Jack Nicholls is into second position. Alex Laho now actually is going to try and make a move for second position. He's going to have the DRS, and Alex Laho out of absolutely nowhere. Remember, he didn't even start in the reverse grid. He was that far down the order, so it's a recovery drive to all recovery drives, and he looks to put the cherry onto the cake. Does Alex Laho around the outside?
Oh, he's making a mistake.
Oh no, he's almost bottled it, Jack Nicholls, as he broke way too late. He went too deep into the corner, and it wasn't going to be for Jack Nicholls in the end. Alex Laho gets the DRS as well. Massimiliano Rivoli has got some DRS. He's going to go down the inside, and is he going to be able to get the speed on Jack Nicholls? They make more contact. Nicholls is down the inside. This is still the final lap of the race. Nicholls holding on to the podium for dear life here. Down the inside on Rivoli. He's just about going to hold on to the podium position. Rivoli still tries to sweep one around the outside. Jack Nicholls holds on for the time being. Alex Laho is going to get second position as Ruben Machete comes around the final couple of corners now. He's going to win the race. He's going to win the race in emphatic style by about 6 seconds. And let's just see confirmation as they come to the line for second position. Alex Laho out of absolutely nowhere, second in the race. Jack Nicholls finishes third after having no pace in that first one, and then Massimiliano Rivoli, slightly disappointingly for him, finishes in 4th after leading a great portion of this race.
Yes, so we're waiting for everybody to finish. Well, we've got Yusuf being in the pits again.
Serving his penalty.
Serving his penalty, I think, again. Let's see what happens here.
And it might actually be a disqualification from Yusuf by the game for not serving his penalty in time, because, of course, the end of the race, though in fairness to him, he was giving it very, very late. And, well, Josh Downard finishes 15th in the end. Let's quickly go through confirmation of the results, at least provisionally. As I said, I expect a couple of post-race penalties there, at least for Massimiliano Riboli, who I think race control might be tempted to give him a penalty. As I said, nothing intentional from Massimiliano Riboli, but certainly his mistake, not expecting, who was it again? It was Joffe, wasn't it, just alongside him. Ruben Machete wins the race and extends his championship lead quite emphatically, with Alex Laho finishing in second position, finally getting a little bit of the rub of the green after a very, very unlucky run. Jack Nicholls finishes in a bravely fought third position, with Massimiliano Riboli in fourth for Alpha Sierra Sim Racing. Jack Mayer finishes in fifth position. Maxime Bilou finishes sixth in the end. Silver Joffe, chasing a first podium and a first top five finish of the season, is still able to do his best result of the season in seventh position, though it'll be very, very bittersweet indeed. Michael Tuamala finishes in eighth position, with Sotyrus Cognitoris finishing in ninth position. Very, very impressive from him as well. Tommy Cuvian finishes in 10th position for Scuderia Cap Clay, with Scott Mitchell finishing in 11th for Kings Racing. Spark Racing Team have one of their entries of Remco de Zut in 12th position, with Tom Ely in 13th, and it's Michalo Viventuvic in 14th. Josh Down in 15th, Stephen Lexo 16th, Olaf van der Stam finishes 17th, Luca Gray, Yusuf Bin Sayal and Caitlin Penny 19th, all 19th actually. They classified as equal across the line.
Yeah, people left the server, that's why. Yeah.
And well, as we head into the final, so a lot of DNFs, a flurry of DNFs, as of course those incidents with Pasanenko being the final classified finisher in 21st. First, just a final confirmation of who DNF'd out this race: Will Gibson, Kanani, Valente, Hayek, Morris and Mitchell. Scott Morris starting on pole position as well. We've only got a couple of interviews for you today, but first we're going to drag in the Red Ven Racing guys of Stephen Lexo and Ruben Machete. And guys, of course, Ruben, you well, both of you won a race. Ruben, you've extended your championship lead, and overall good performance from the team.
Yeah, this was a good weekend again for us, but as like I think 7 or 8 rounds, Steven got again very unlucky. So it doesn't feel so good if we both finish higher in the top 10. But yeah, it's good for me, but could have been better for Steven, as always.
But again, I believe extending your lead at the top of the constructors' standings. I know Stephen especially was vocal on the fact that that is your priority this season. Surely you have to feel that, well, you can go on and win that one?
Well, I mean, Alpha Sierra is strong. Sometimes they are better, sometimes we are better. I think today we were a little bit better, but not much. So it will be, I think, tight all season. So I think we will have a great fight against them.
And well, thank you guys for the interview. We've got to rattle through them today, unfortunately. But thank you very much.
I didn't answer a single question.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just realised as I was saying that. Any final words, Stephen?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, pathetic, to be honest, at the moment. The standards, I've been spun around like 8 times now. So yeah, a special thank you to Alex Lehoux, who killed me once again for the 4th time this season. But yeah, happy for Ruben. Yeah, race 1 was okay.
And well, thank you very much for the interview, and hopefully we speak to you after a better week next time out. And
let's hope so.
That was the Red Fen Racing guys of Ruben Machete and Stephen Lex. So we're going to drag in Alex Laho this time. And Alex, it was a very disappointing first race, spinning out of a good position, which seems to unfortunately be a bit of a theme at the minute. But you did well in the second race and just about nicked a podium at the end. Nicked P2 after all.
Oh, yeah. Race 1 was kind of a mess. I flipped 3 times on the turn 6 curb. I didn't spin at all, by the way, Tom. Hi. I didn't say hi. Where are my manners?
What was the what happened in race 1 then? You spun, didn't you?
On lap 6, I was following. I think it was Luke. He was P4, or was it Jack? I'm unsure. But anyway, coming into turn 6, I hop on the AstroTurf sort of thingy, and it sends me flying, kind of what we could have seen over the weekends. People flipping over that curb, etc. It happened to me 3 times that race.
I know, okay. But, well, pretty happy to get third, I imagine. Second in the second race for your troubles.
Yeah, it was a very good race from my point, but not from anyone else because there were so many crashes and stuff. And I'm still not sure to get at P2 because on lap 1, I locked up into turn 3. I had a half spin. I tried to, avoid the guy in front of me who braked way earlier than I thought he would. And I think I hit Steven again! Again, Steven! I think I can't see the replay right now because the live feed is broken. But I think I hit Steven, which hit Luke and chain reaction. So yeah, my P2. I'm not going to celebrate too early because there's still the reports and stuff. And I mean, it was clean overall. The races were clean overall.
And, well, thank you very much for your time, Alex, and well, enjoy the podium, at least for now.
Thank you, and yeah, good race for Ruven as well. Overpowered that guy.
That was Alex Laho, and well, we just final interview of the day. We get all the podium finishes in. Jack Nichols joining us, and well, I don't think we were. I mean, I did call it you getting onto the podium there actually at the start of the race, but well, really hard fought, and at the end, it must have been pretty intense.
After the first 9 laps, I thought I can't do this for the whole second half of the race because I had no pace, as you saw, because I didn't do any practice until this evening. And then yeah, first race was fine because everyone crashed, and then the second race I was in the lead at turn 2, 3 at the top of the hill. It's well, things can only go backwards from here, and they did. But I'm really, really happy with the podium, to be honest, especially after last week. Jack West came in and filled in for me and won both races, so I needed some kind of vengeance or something.
Yes, and well, I don't think you quite replicated the
no,
double
not
that
quite,
he
but
did.
in my own special way, I lucked into a podium, and I'm taking it.
Well, I don't think anyone was going to replicate the double. But anyway, heading into the rest of the season, do you hope maybe this can be the little bit of momentum that gives Kings Racing a bit of a push towards the end?
Yeah, I hope so. I think well, like everyone, Scott and I have real lives, and they've been getting in the way a little bit more recently. But I hope second half of the year becomes a bit more. We can put a bit more time in and stuff like that. And yeah, I think our aim's always been to finish in the top 3 in the teams championship again. And Scott's not exactly, well, he had a bad race today, but yeah, who knows where we can finish in the championship.
And thank you very much, Jack, and well, enjoy the podium as well. We'll hopefully speak to you again, or Scott, when you get onto the podium again. But thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you all, guys. Thank you lot for the broadcast. It's great as ever.
That was Jack Nichols, Kings Racing, and they sit third in the championship, and they'll still stay third. You would imagine they've got a pretty big buffer to TOP behind. And Menno, I know you're keen as anyone to get off here after the race, but thank you very much for joining me. Any final words before we round out the broadcast?
Well, it was a very special evening again with quite a bit of incidents, but I think that's also a bit of the track. If somebody has lost a front wing and maybe doesn't fully notice that, and then somebody next to him, then you will have a Guan Yu Zhao type crash. But it was eventful, but it had its positives as well. So I'm very proud on some of the drives today, and it was a very good battle for the top positions in both races. So that's really good. So FS2 now is done, and we now go to the rest of the Austrian rounds. So that will be very interesting for FS1 as well, coming up in 2 days.
And well, on that note, I've been Tom Dillon. He's been Menno Klont. We'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all later. Good night.